Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Team News live stream for Gameweek 24. Very big, important game week, of course. We're finally into Gameweek 24, which is double game week. So Liverpool, West Ham, double game weeks this week. It's one we've been talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's finally here. And as always, I'm joined by Neale. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Andy. Yeah, still trying to decide on my own plans for tonight. Never mind round up the team news because I've yet to decide whether to use my triple captainship, who I'm getting in, and I've got less than 3 hours to do it as well.
Haven't decided on triple captain yet. Oof, that is leaving it to the last
No,
minute. I'm locked in with triple captain, but I haven't made my third Liverpool transfer yet, so still got to decide whether to
yeah,
bring in Salah or Robertson. So we'll see if there's any big news that might persuade me either way. And let's start with Liverpool, although I don't think Klopp is being very useful to us, is he?
no, he isn't due to give his press conference till tomorrow. Unfortunately, he's not. Of course, Liverpool's not in action until Thursday night, and all the games, all the pre-match press conferences have kind of followed the schedule. So all of Tuesdays were given yesterday, all of Wednesday's games were given today. So yeah, Nuno and Klopp will give their press conferences tomorrow, which is useless to us because it's after the deadline. We're going off what we know so far, and that's just basically the squad player. So Shaqiri hoping to shake off a calf injury that caused him to miss the weekend. Lovren was meant to be back in training this week, and Milner and Kate, I think, are a little bit further behind. But unfortunately, we won't hear anything new from Klopp tonight. We can keep our fingers crossed for any kind of leaks in the next 3 hours from Getty Images, things like that, training ground photos. But I think we're going to be in the dark, unfortunately, going into Thursday night's game. And as I said, same with Wolves, who got red flags on Yotta and Bolly, who I think they were both expected to be back and running. But Ruben Vinagre is definitely out.
Yeah, that is extremely frustrating. I think if we get news that a player like Mane or Salah is out, we didn't hear about it beforehand. I can just picture the meltdown now. But I think hopefully we'll be okay. We'll move on to the other double game week, just in case people are looking to maybe bring in West Ham players. How are they shaping up at the moment?
Yeah, not too bad. At least we did get a press conference from Moyes. It was the last one to arrive this afternoon, I think. No update on Fabianski, unfortunately, who I think it was last Monday. West Ham had ruled him out for a couple of weeks or a few weeks. So there's a chance he returns for the second fixture within game week 24, but doesn't sound like the first one. We'll probably see Randolph in goal again there. Elsewhere in the West Ham team, Felipe Anderson's going to be out for 4 weeks. He's got a back problem. Antonio's getting closer to fitness, although Moyes didn't specifically reveal if he's going to be available for this one. And Yarmolenko was out for 3 weeks, or the best part of 3 weeks as well. So, yeah, they're not exactly stocked with options. We've seen a few youngsters on the bench lately, but I guess that's a good thing if you're going for one of their assets because it means rotation perhaps isn't quite the possibility it could have been with all of those players fit. Although he's still got options, for example, bringing Masuaku back in on the left wing, particularly given the tough nature of their fixtures. So, yeah, a bit of information on Moyes, but unfortunately nothing clear cut on when Fabianski will return exactly.
Yeah, I mean Randolph is probably a bit of an upgrade on what they had before, but it's probably still
Yeah,
not at Fabianski's level. So I'm pretty confident to use the triple captainship. I don't know about you, but we'll see if we can convince you by the end of the video. What one quick thing I suppose, just on Liverpool, going back to them, given that there's 6 days rest, but there's an FA Cup game. I mean, are you
yeah.
expecting much rotation? I know obviously you can't say for definite, but what's your thoughts on that?
My feeling is that given how he treated the third round game against Everton, it was a Merseyside derby. There was every reason for him to put out a strong team then, and he fielded mostly kids with a couple of second string players like I think Lallana was playing, wasn't he? Minamino as well. I think something similar might happen. At least that's what we hopes are. Because they're playing against Shrewsbury on Sunday, it must be, who are a League One team. And I would fully expect him to use that game to field the likes of Lovren and Matip and Fabinho, who are just back from injury, and then of course the academy kids as well. So what I'm hoping for, and what's fantasy managers will be hoping for, is that he goes full strength in the league, uses the FA Cup to rotate, and the fact that there's such a generous recovery time in between the games. I mean, they've had 5 or 4 days since the United game to get ready for Wolves. They'll have another 6 in between West Ham and Wolves, the second fixture. So Yeah, they've got a fairly generous recovery time within that, and he's got the option to use the peripheral squad players against Shrewsbury this weekend. So that is what I'm hoping. That's what I've gone with in the team use for Thursday night anyway. I think the one spot where perhaps you're not sure about is Oxley's Chamberlains. It could be Lallana in there. You could bring Fabinho back, but other than that, the big players, the big fantasy assets, I would expect them to start on Thursday night at least.
Yeah, I mean they've been doing fine without Fabinho, but I wouldn't expect him to miss
Yeah.
out too much longer. But yeah, that's kind of along my thinking as well. I'm not really too worried about rotation, and I think they can beat Shrewsbury without their main thing. The league is such a priority for Liverpool. I don't think they're going to do anything to mess that up. All right, let's move on to Leicester because they've actually, although it's not a player we probably own, there is some big news for those of us that are maybe looking at shifting on Vardy, Soyuncu, and the likes of those players.
Yeah, so as you said there, not a direct impact on the FPL world, but indirectly, he makes such a big difference to Leicester, both ends of the pitch. And Didi, who I think was it just last week he was ruled out for 4 to 6 weeks with this knee surgery he's had. Now, there were some positive comments from Rodgers at the weekend saying he was already back in the grass, but I don't think any of us expected him to be ready for this one. But Rodgers said this afternoon he's got a great chance of featuring against West Ham. Which kind of dents West Ham's appeal a little bit more if you're going for the double game week 24 assets, and also makes the likes of Vardy, Madison, Soyuncu, people like that a little bit more tempting, even though they have been a bit off the boil of late. So yeah, he's the main one. Rodgers also said that there was 2 players missing from the squad at the weekend, apart from Ndidi, Chilwell and Chowdhury, nothing to do with injury. He says they were left out of the squad because they turned up late to a training session. So that's all done and dusted now. He says it's water under the bridge and they're available for selection. So you might see Chilwell coming back in, along with, of course, Ndidi.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I own 3 Leicester players, and I wasn't really in a rush to get rid of him anyway against West Ham at home, but definitely not getting rid of him now. Hopefully, this will be some points to kind of do him before the bad fixtures come. We've been asked in the chat if we've asked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer whether Brandon Williams is going to start the next game. So any news on lineups and injuries for Man United?
I wish I had a direct line to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Not that he would give us a straight answer anyway. Yeah, he didn't give much away this morning. I think he was on the back foot, to be honest, because there were plenty of questions surrounding Marcus Rashford and whether he's made it worse, Solskjaer, by playing him against Wolves in the FA Cup. And he was saying this was kind of a separate injury, that he'd had problems first against Burnley in the reverse fixture, and then the impact he felt against Wolves was something separate. But he's going to be out. If you hadn't already heard, he's going to be out for at least 6 weeks. I suspect it'll be longer than that. Nothing really to go on in terms of Williams. Solskjaer had said after the Liverpool game of the weekend that Luke Shaw's got the potential to be one of the best left backs in the Premier League. So he was talking his prospects up. So it's difficult to say whether or not Williams keeps his place or not. Generally, when the pair have been fit, he's gone with Shaw in the Premier League. So I do think that is a possibility to happen. Unfortunately, I do own Williams as well, so I'm hoping it's the opposite. But there's a chance that both could play, as happened at the weekend. Not in a wing-back system, but Lindelof has apparently left the training ground early today because he was ill. So they might be down a centre-half. Now, Eric Bailly is just back from injury. Hasn't played at all this season, so I don't know if he'll throw him straight in. Phil Jones is Phil Jones. And then Shaw, of course, played at centre half at the weekend, not in a back 2, rather than a back 3. So there's a slim chance that Shaw could play alongside Maguire with Williams at left back, but I don't think that will happen. Elsewhere, just on Rashford, actually, Solskjaer said that Greenwood could get more chances as a result of Rashford being out, which would make sense. Now, when Martial was sidelined in the autumn, that didn't happen. Greenwood was still overlooked, but I think he's increasingly becoming more involved in the first team setup now. He's played more games, more minutes. So it could be that he gets more starts while Rashford is out, starting maybe with the Burnley game.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I think with Williams, like if you own him, then you've got him in as a very, very cheap enabler that might play. I don't think you can rely on him just yet. It's interesting with the Shaw quotes though, because he said very similar about Greenwood earlier in the season, and he's barely had a start, even though he's been talked up all season long. So it'd be interesting to see. I think most Man United fans would prefer Williams to start over Shaw.
Oh yeah.
But I think we're going to go back to a back 4 anyway, as long as Bailly's kind of fit to start. So we'll see what happens there. But I wouldn't be relying on him anytime soon. How about Man City, other side of Manchester? How are they looking?
Very quiet. Stones and Mendy are the fresh concerns. Stones got a problem with his leg. Mendy's got some muscular fatigue, and Guardiola didn't know if they're going to play or not tonight. He's going to speak to the doctors. And Laporte's the other one. Again, Guardiola said he didn't know when he was going to be ready for a playing return. He's been back training for weeks, so it's fairly soonish, I would suspect, unless he has a setback. But I wonder if he'll just keep him back for maybe the FA Cup this weekend and give him a run out then. And apart from that, Guardiola says everyone's okay, apart from, of course, Sarnia, who's a long-term absentee.
Yeah, I think it would definitely be interesting once Laporte's back. I think we might have to rethink our Man City options, especially if the fixtures are good, but we'll have to probably wait and see until he's back. How about Sheffield United? New signing I've seen, and kind of it seemed like Wilder was almost talking like he was ready to, or he's coming into play rather than just be, make up the numbers. Whether or not that will come true, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so, actually. It's Jack Robinson from Nottingham Forest. He's left-sided defender. I think he's played mostly at left-back, but play like a left-sided centre-half. I do think this is a signing as cover. I don't think it's going to impact on the first-team setup at the moment. Sheffield United, I think they've only got one injury doubt, and that's David McGoldrick, who missed out on the weekend with a foot problem. He's going to be assessed ahead of tonight. There was a quote about Mo Besic, who's...
That's what I've got up on screen.
Is it? Yeah, coming next. I preempted you. He's come on as a substitute in the past few games. Impressed Sheffield United fans. I know people who've seen him previously, Everton, Middlesbrough fans aren't quite so impressed. But he's more of the tough tackling variety, which you think might come in handy against Man City. So yeah, Wilder was asked about his chances of starting Besic, and he said he was pushing. He's going to have a look at the fixture and performances and shapes and what gives us the best opportunity on getting a result. That's his words. So it's a possibility. We were discussing this last week, weren't we, in ahead of the Arsenal game about Lundstram potentially getting a rest. Now, Wilder hasn't made any unenforced changes to his first choice defensive midfield this season. It's only been forced due to suspension or injury. So he'd be bucking the trend by dropping Lundstram, but I do think it's becoming an increasing possibility because he has looked tired. He's been brilliant this season for everybody, for Sheffield United and for fantasy managers, but he has looked tired lately, and he's probably not used to playing a full season, given how ostracised he was last year. So yeah, it's a slim possibility. I suspect people won't be that bothered this weekend or this week anyway because they're playing Man City. So I think he'll be on a lot of people's benches. So if a rest was to come, then I'd rather he got it out of the way in Game Week 24, just ahead of the brilliant fixtures to come in Game Week 25.
Yeah, exactly. I think if I bring in Robertson, I'm definitely going to bench Lundstram. I don't know. I guess the fact that he's come off... I mean, we could look at the fact that he's come off early twice in the last couple of games as a bad thing performance-wise, but he could also just be rested a little bit and minutes managed even. So it'd be interesting to see. Talking about minutes being managed, this is pretty... big news. We kind of talked about Ings last week and Hasenhüttl and how he's pretty kind of legit when he says something in a press conference. He's not like a kind of mind games like Solskjaer always seems to do. He seems to give it straight. So there's a chance of Ings rotation maybe.
There is, yeah. He said yesterday, I think it was his press conference, that this is the last time that the schedule is busy because of course they had some congestion in December. And this quote was what stood out to me. He said, maybe this is the last game where we rotate a little bit because of the fact that we played 2 games after the last game. Now, previously, he talked about this being a busy week, and I suspected he meant that he would rest a few players in the FA Cup, which is to come this weekend against Spurs. But the fact that he has specifically mentioned this game coming so soon after Game Week 23 is a worry. Last week, he was talking about how much work his front 2 have to do. And he's repeatedly mentioned about Danny Ings and how it's not a given, even though he has been fitter than he ever has been this season. It's not a given that he starts every game. So there's a possibility that he gets rested tonight. What we can hope for is that we get some in the know early leaks ahead of the deadline tonight, and then we'll know for certain. But yeah, those comments are a worry you don't really need because I guess it's not a brilliant fixture because Palace are fairly good at the back, but they're still been conceding like 1 goal per game, Palace lately. No clean sheets in 7. So I would be playing him if he starts. So it's just whether he starts or not. If I get an early leak and it says that he's on the bench, then I might rethink that.
Well, here's a question for you that'd be interesting. Then, if you rethink it, who plays instead of him? Because for me, it would be Kelly. So I'm banking on him not coming on and scoring because that'd be super frustrating.
Yeah, that would probably be I think Kelly's my first sub at the moment, so that would mean a double up on Palace's defence because I've got Guaita. But I guess with Kelly as well, Joel Ward's back, and you're never sure if he's going to play. So yeah, let's hope for some leaks.
Could be carnage this week all around.
It could be.
What about any other general news? Everton, obviously, I think Richarlison was obviously missing last week. It looks like he's going to be missing again this week.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's out. We said last week that Ancelotti was very hopeful of him recovering for this, but he's back in training, but still complaining about pain. So he's going to miss out. So is Sigurdsson. Iwobi's not going to be risked. So I think they've got a doubt over Michael Keane as well, who has got a neck problem. So they're down to the bare bones, really, which is good, I think, if you're a Holgate owner, if Keane doesn't make it, because there was the quote everyone saw last week about the possibility of rotation at centre-half. But he's been brilliant, Holgate. I think he's their best centre-half now. So, yeah, you'd expect maybe Sadibi to come back in because he was rested at the weekend, and maybe one or two changes as well. But as I said, slim pickings with all those absentees, so could be a similar-ish lineup. As for the rest, I'll just do what I do normally do.
Yeah, go on. Let's run through the rest.
Down. Yeah, Arsenal. Kolasinac and Nelson are going to be missing till the other side of the winter break. Aubameyang's still suspended as well. Socrates is going to be assessed for illness. Villa didn't get any injury updates from Dean Smith, unfortunately. Their new signing, Samata, I don't think he's registered in time to feature, so I think he's not going to be involved. Bournemouth, Kelly's going to be assessed for his match fitness ahead of the Brighton game tonight. Cook's suspended, and then they've got a whole list of players who are out. Ones that you'll already know about, the likes of Mepham, Brooks Daniels, Stacey King. Brighton, who they're playing tonight, pretty clean bill of health apart from Byrne and Izquierdo, who again long-term injuries. Burnley, Goodmanson's got a chance of being back. I suspect as a substitute. Barnes is still out, obviously, because he just had hernia surgery last Friday. Chelsea, Alonso past fit. Loftus-Cheek out and Pulisic still out. Positive news on Reece James, who's been very good. I was impressed with him in the Newcastle game at the weekend. Lampard says his knee injury settled down very quickly and that he's in contention for tomorrow, but it will still be a tight call. So if he's not back for the Arsenal game, then he'll be back for the weekend, Lampard says. Palace, which we skirted on there, Milivojevic, I think this is his last game that he's suspended for, so he's out. Sakho Benteke, Townsend, Schlupp, Van Aanholt still out, but Max Meyer's back, probably as a substitute. And as I said there before, Ward was back last weekend, but he was on the subs bench, which was, I guess, a positive if you're a Kelly owner, because that's his positional rival at right back. Everton, we've covered. I think Newcastle's next. Willems and Dummett out for the season. Yedlin, Gale, Mankiw, Mutu, Key, they're all out for this game. Carroll looks like he's going to miss out as well. It comes too soon, this game.
Sorry. Question is for Newcastle. When are you bringing Matt Ritchie in?
Yeah, I put a status up like yesterday. They've got some great fixtures. If he was a bit cheaper, I'd consider it, but I think 5.3 is still a lot.
Yeah, because you can get Lascelles for 4.2, so it's very hard to go for Ritchie. But I don't know, will he still be on penalties these days? I'm not even sure he's on penalties.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah, as far as I'm aware. Obviously, he's been injured for most of the season, but especially with St. Maximin bombing down the wing and drawing fouls and that, I think we might get a few pens before the end of the season.
Double-figure hauls coming.
Yeah, it could be the differential for the final, 14 game weeks. Norwich, having got everyone back to fitness, they've now lost 3 more players. So Godfrey suspended, that's for kick-off. Buendia has been very good lately. He's out for this game. Vrancic as well. And one other. Just a backup keeper, Farman, yeah, just a backup keeper. So nothing to worry about there. Tottenham, yeah. Mourinho says Rose is fit and Ndombele is fit, but he isn't quite sure how much Ndombele can play. Not 90 minutes, but he could still start. And then it's just that the players already knew about Kane, Sissoko and Davies. Lloris has been back in training, but I think Mourinho was talking more about an early February return, so it might be Gazaniga's last game between the posts in the Premier League. Watford, who are in form. Ismail Assar was tracking a lot of investment in the FPL world. He's out with a muscle problem. I don't think it's serious. He could be back for game week 25. So he's out. Welbeck could be back. He's the closest to featuring out of the longer term absentees, like Cleverly, Hughes and Firmino, who are close, but I think probably this is too soon. And I think the last one is someone I mentioned at the start, we won't hear about until tomorrow, and that's Wolves. So I think hopefully that brings us up to speed with everybody. But again, if I haven't mentioned anybody there's an article just come out at 4 o'clock on the site, which is the team news roundup. So you can see everything there.
Nicely done. Well, before I let you go, because I'm sure you've got loads of other stuff to be doing, let's talk Liverpool. How many have you got? All three of your players set now?
Nope, I'm well behind on my prep. I've got ideas about what I'm doing. I think.
Which two do you have now? Do you have two already?
I've got Salah and Alexander-Arnold.
Okay.
So where I am in my rank is sort of just around the top 10k mark. Mane is kind of a defensive move because he's so highly owned amongst that top 10k, and that if people triple captain him or captain him, then I'm done for really. But that's my mentality, my sort of cowardly mentality. It would mean a bit of a reshuffle as well, or getting rid of De Bruyne. Maybe for like 1 week. Yeah, I know. I think the fact they're away at Sheffield United makes it doable for 1 week, but I'd be scared about
Spurs away after that.
Yeah. I mean, they've been better defensively, but I'd still fancy City to score in both of the game. So yeah, I've got a few things to think about. The other option is Firmino in for Abraham, or the likes of Robertson or Van Dijk in for I don't know who actually, because I kind of want to keep silent you this week.
Wow, you've got some big decisions to make in the next few hours.
I have, and I'm running out of time.
Yeah,
and I've got other stuff to do on the site as well.
Last quick question then: what is making you think that you might not go for triple captain? What are you not happy with to use it this week? Potentially.
Do you know what it is? I think it's because I'm so used to using it late in the season and having a strategy in mind for all the chips in one go. Like previously, I've known when I'm going to wild card and then play my bench boost, triple captain, and free hit. Whereas now I'll be playing my triple captain and I've got no idea when I'll be doing the rest. I mean, I suspect it'll be double game week 34, 37, but we don't know what those game weeks are going to look like. We don't know who's going to be blanking, who's going to be doubling, whether there'll be a better prospect of a triple captain chip. We just don't know. But the reason I'm leaning towards it more so is that we've not had a chance to use it on a Liverpool asset for 3-4 seasons. They are probably going to be at full strength in both the games, which you can't guarantee later in the year. With the league might be wrapped up, other teams like City might be rotating for the Champions League. So while the fixtures aren't great, West Ham, Wolves away, Liverpool have been beaten sides no matter who the opposition is, and you don't often get a chance of sticking the armband on Salah or Mane for 2 fixtures when they're hopefully, fingers crossed, likely to play both. So I think I am going to use it. Are you using it as well, Andy? Are you set on it?
I'm 100% using it pretty much for the reasons you've just said. Like, it's Liverpool, they're in form. Mane and Salah are also, like, if you look at kind of in the members area for attackers last 4 game weeks, they're like top 5 for expected goals involvement. I don't expect too much rotation. If they do get rotated, I'll feel a bit unlucky. And to be honest, the most I've ever got out of a triple captainship is 3 into 9. So my expectations are quite low anyway. And like I said, you just don't know what's going to happen. And also, actually, in some ways, getting a chip out the way lets you've got more weeks to use less chips, so you don't almost have to try and cram everything in. So yeah, I'm going to go for it. If I bring in Salah, I'll be pretty tempted to go for him because he's less owned and my rank is awful compared to yours. But if I go for Robertson, I'm just going to triple captain Mane. Absolutely happy to do so. So yeah, all right. We'll leave it there for this team news. There'll be another one, I guess, the Friday before the next deadline. Which is
week on Friday.
Yeah, January 31st, I think. We'll be back then. Thanks very much as always, Neil. We will catch you all next time. See you later.
Cheers, Andy. Good luck, everybody.